The moment Jasmine Crockett quietly changed everything. Picture this. It's a packed auditorium in Dallas. Law students, reporters, and podcast hosts are all live streaming what's supposed to be just another legal panel. But everyone knows this isn't really about the other panelists. This is about two women sitting 3 seats apart. And the tension you could cut with a knife. In one chair, Judge Judy Shineland, television icon, decades of courtroom authority, the woman who made "Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining" a household phrase. In the other, Jasmine Crockett, freshman congresswoman, no reality show, no entourage, just a navy blazer and eyes that had seen too much to be intimidated by anyone. What happened next wasn't just a debate. It was a masterclass in how to dismantle doubt without raising your voice. The setup, the panel starts innocently enough. Soft questions about constitutional adaptation, balance in modern courtrooms. The usual stuff. Everyone's giving their rehearsed answers when Judge Judy decides it's time to test a newcomer. Her voice doesn't rise. It doesn't need to. Congresswoman Crockett, she says cool and direct, "You speak often about justice reform. But I'm curious, how many felony cases have you actually tried? Not press conferences, not hearings. I mean in court with a jury with consequences." The room shifts. That sharp inhale when people sense something's about to crack open. Camera operators lean in. The audience stops scrolling their phones. This is the moment most politicians stumble. The moment they deflect, pivot, or give some non-answer about lived experience. But Jasmine doesn't blink. 3 capital cases, she replies, calm as still water. And dozens involving coerced confessions, unlawful searches, and juries that look nothing like the communities they judged. Judge Judy raises an eyebrow. Were you successful? And here's where Jasmine delivers a line that would echo far beyond that theater. I kept innocent people out of cages. So yes, I was... The pressure builds. But Judge Judy isn't finished. She's been doing this for decades, and she knows how to press. It's easy to point fingers at the system when you haven't spent decades inside it. Real law isn't just slogans and sentiment. It's consistency, logic, structure. You can feel the audience reacting. Some nodding along, others tensing up. One woman reaches for her phone. Another whispers, "This is about to get interesting." This is where most people would take the bait. Get defensive. Raise their voice. Fight fire with fire. Instead, Jasmine leans forward slightly and says, "With respect, I know the law because I've had to use it as a shield, not as a performance. I've stood beside kids no one listened to in courtrooms where the judge forgot they were human. So when I talk about reform, I'm not criticizing the rules. I'm challenging how they're enforced." That line doesn't explode. It lands like truth. Heavy, undeniable. The test. Judge Judy tries a different approach. Time for the intellectual kill shot. All right, Congresswoman. You've talked a lot about how the law fails people, but let's get specific. Can you cite a single federal case that backs up what you're saying? Something that proves what you call systemic failure isn't just a story, but a constitutional concern. This is it. The moment designed to expose the difference between someone who talks about law and someone who knows it. The audience holds its breath. United States versus Jones. Jasmine says immediately. No hesitation. No fumbling. 2012. The government placed a GPS tracker on a suspect's car without a valid warrant. They tracked him for nearly a month. Even Judge Judy blinks. The D.C. Circuit ruled it an illegal search under the Fourth Amendment. The Supreme Court upheld that decision. Jasmine sits a little straighter. But here's what people forget. The case didn't just address technology. It reminded the country that even small intrusions, if done without judicial oversight, violate core rights. The room goes silent. Not because it's dramatic, but because it's precise, professional, unshakable. Cases like Jones matter. Jasmine continues. Because they don't just warn law enforcement, they warn the public. They say your rights are not optional. Not in traffic stops, not in housing raids, not when the system decides you're invisible. The stories that change everything. Then Jasmine does something unexpected. She stops being a congresswoman and becomes a witness. I once defended a teenager who got arrested for walking too slowly down his own street. They called it suspicious loitering. No drug, no weapon, but 2 nights in jail. All because the officer didn't like his tone when he asked, "Why am I being stopped?" The audience is no longer watching a debate. They're absorbing testimony. Another time, I represented a single mother whose apartment was raided during dinner. Wrong apartment number. They kicked down the door, scared her toddler half to death, and left without filing charges. She never filed a complaint. She was too afraid they'd come back. These aren't talking points. These are scars. And everyone in that room can feel the weight of them. I don't read law from textbooks, Jasmine says quietly. I read it in medical records, in faulty arrest reports, in transcripts where nobody asked the right questions because no one in power thought they had to. The turning point. Judge Judy tries one more approach. This time, it's not about credentials or cases. It's about philosophy. Experience is earned under pressure, in real courtrooms with real consequences, she says. I'm not questioning your heart, but experience, that's earned. It's a classic move. Discredit by diminishing. For most people, it might work. But Jasmine has been here before. I've seen judges sign warrants in under a minute, seen prosecutors treat fear like guilt, and I've watched people, poor people, scared people, walk into court already sentenced in the eyes of the room. Then she delivers the line that changes everything. It's not emotion that weakens justice. It's indifference. The silence that follows isn't empty. It's full of recognition, of truth acknowledged. I've seen judges shrug through hearings like paperwork. I've seen prosecutors laugh when defendants cry. That's not law being objective. That's law being numb. For the first time all evening, Judge Judy stops tapping her finger on the armrest. Because this isn't theory. This is survival inside a system that too often forgets its purpose. The recognition. Something shifts. Judge Judy's posture changes. She's no longer pressing, no longer challenging. She's listening. You're not what I expected, Judy admits. Jasmine smiles, not smug, just steady. You're not as inflexible as I thought either. And just like that, the room has turned, not through drama or confrontation, but through clarity, through someone refusing to be diminished by reputation or intimidated by experience. The aftermath. The panel ends politely. No fireworks, no viral walk-offs. Just applause and the sound of chairs scraping as people leave. But what nobody realizes yet is that the moment has already escaped that room. A law student in the 3rd row had been recording. Within hours, the clip of Jasmine breaking down United States versus Jones is everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Not because it was loud, but because it was right. Law professors start adding it to their syllabi. Young attorneys share it with colleagues. Community organizers forward it to activists. For once, the legal world isn't talking about who shouted loudest. They're talking about a woman who never raised her voice because she didn't need to. The real story. While cable networks race to book her, Jasmine Crockett is already somewhere else entirely. Not on morning television or at recap panels, but in a community hall in Duncanville, Texas. Plain walls, folding chairs, a whiteboard that reads, "Know your rights." She's talking about tenant protections, broadband subsidies, what to do if police enter your home without a warrant. No cameras, no stylists, just working-class Texans who need to know how to protect themselves. Because this was never about one moment on stage. It was about the people who don't get invited to panels, who don't have microphones, who still need to figure out what to do when the system fails them. The letter. A few days later, a plain white envelope arrives at her office. No return address, just her name in clean block letters. Inside, a single sheet of cream paper with handwriting that's unmistakably practiced, the kind that comes from someone who used to write rulings, not tweets. You don't need to prove yourself to people who've already decided you're not enough. Keep showing up anyway. The law needs voices like yours. It's signed simply, J.S. Jasmine doesn't smile when she reads it. She doesn't react right away. She just leans back, letting the words land where they're meant to. Because this isn't about headlines or follow-up interviews. This is a passing of something deeper, A recognition that can't be earned, only acknowledged. The lesson: some rooms are built to silence you with tradition and protocol, ceilings designed to keep certain voices from rising. But Jasmine Crockett walked into one of those rooms and didn't ask for permission. She didn't shout. She didn't try to outshine the icon across from her. She just showed up prepared. And somehow, that changed everything. She came from small offices with broken vending machines and stacks of eviction notices. From courtrooms where no one looked her clients in the eye until she made them. From a kind of silence that forces you to speak with purpose, not volume. And the lesson is simple. You don't have to fight loud. You just have to fight smart. When someone tries to question if you belong, don't explain. Show them. Because in a world obsessed with who speaks loudest, the voice that changes everything is often the one that never had to raise itself to be heard.